again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these I will give you if you fall down and worship me."
And no, we don't negotiate with evil. They saying I can give you the world, but first you gotta poison all of your people. But I'm not for sale, I'm not for sale, I'm not for sale, I'm not for sale, I'm not for sale.
Give it to me now. I'm a young man that was born on the city of Chicago's west side. I was raised in one of its poverty-stricken neighborhoods
that we call the village.
I grew up like most kids in the ghetto, to a single-parent mom, on drugs, surrounded by drugs and violence, but I was able to escape what was created to destroy me. You're probably thinking by now, this just another hoodlum or some product of the ghetto. There was something special about me. I was a dreamer, I was a thinker, and I never took things as it's just the way it is. I never made an excuse for myself. I never settled. I never allowed myself to accept defeat. I persevered. Whenever I found myself falling into the traps that was definitely there,
to pull me under.
I see a many of instances where I could have easily became that alcoholic, or I could have took the other route and been strung out on drugs because the opportunity was there. Instead of looking at the situation like against all odds, or thinking that the odds were somehow stacked up against me, for me, it made me that much better. Look, I see it this way. I'm tougher. I overcame more than most. I endured more than most, so I must be special. I say do what you do, people, and do it well. Don't allow no obstacle, I don't care how big the obstacle may look or how giant the obstacle may seem. That mountain can be crossed. Don't allow nothing to stand in your way. Just keep on persevering. Push that much harder. I tell you, when you come out on the other side, the refinery process is amazing. I do me. Not allowing anything that someone may be thinking or what I think someone may be thinking on the outside. Forget that, people. Don't allow what you think people are thinking to hinder your growth process. I do what I do so well because I'm passionate. I believe in what I do. I have the ability to read and relate a person in less than 5 seconds.
I walk and I stand knowing and believing in myself. Yes.
I said myself.
And what is in within me.
I stand on what's been given to me, which is life. And if all that is in the universe is in me, then I am an immaculate, amazing conception. If I could speak to the one, I would say, love yourself. Place value in yourself. Queen, if you ever feel like you're not having a good day, or you're feeling like you're just not loving yourself, I want you to get in the mirror and don't get out that mirror until you see what it is you're happy with, until you see your best friend, until you see love staring right back at you. I would say don't be afraid to embrace your greatness, ladies. Your worth to earth is so amazing. So amazing. And I know sometimes it may seem hard. But as the late great Tupac said, ladies, keep your head up. Woman, sometimes you guys have the tendencies to settle. But when you do that, ladies, you don't allow the man to grow. A man will step up to be with a woman that he likes. Ladies, you have an amazing ability, but you are afraid to embrace it. And one of the main reasons that women are afraid to embrace their greatness is because those that are in power, that has recently granted them the rights to vote in 1920. How stupid does this sound? But it's the sad truth. and also the same ones who control what is written in religion has removed you, ladies, from your original position here on earth. The woman back in the right knowledge civilization has always been honored as a queen. So ladies, don't find yourself settling. When you do that, you only allow man to stay weak. But when you make a man work and appreciate you, he becomes a king, and then he's able to treat you like a queen. I say, ladies, when you find yourself settling, it's like a rental car. If you will, just think with me. Think how men drive rental cars. We drive them all crazy, exactly like we drive the woman when we able to get her so easily. Let's take the same scenario. Do you hear me? Imagine if a man posted a picture of a Rolls Royce on his mirror. That becomes his goal. He worked hard day in and day out to get that Rolls Royce. He's putting a little away here, a couple of hundred away there, towards that Rolls Royce. I wouldn't care, ladies, if it took him 5 years to get that Rolls Royce. When he's finally able to make that purchase to buy that Rolls Royce, this is the moment you pay attention to. Just watch how he takes the time to wipe it down every day. He takes pride in it. He pays special attention to it because he had to work so hard to get it. It's not about how much he paid for the car. It's about the work that he put in to get this car. So now he's showing value to it. And it's the exact same way that we would place value in our woman if she made us work hard. If I could speak to man, I would say, don't allow yourselves to be silent. We as men have become so pussified until we're cowards. We don't stand for nothing anymore. And you know what they say, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And that's exactly what we have done. We all have become slaves and allowed the divide and conquer tactic to be poured on us. So if I can just light a match underneath your behind, just to make you jump up out your comfort zone, because I hear that's a bad place for progress. I know someone's gonna hear this and say, I'm not a slave. Well then, if you think you're not, gather together some of your family members and your friends, get yourself some natural resources so you can build that big pretty house that your wife always wanted. It only takes natural resources to produce that dream car that you always wanted for yourself. And I call them natural resources because the universe gives them to us naturally in abundance. No finances from the Federal Reserves is needed. I'm waiting because I know you will come with every excuse. That's what I'm working for. I'm working so I can buy that big pretty house that she wants. So I can buy myself that dream car. So basically, you're saying you're working to be indebted your whole life to consistently keep paying for something that naturally took no money to produce. Like I originally said, enslaved. Wrap your head around this for a moment. Picture living in the right knowledge civilization where everyone did what it was that they loved. All that we ate was grown naturally. The only thing that we were enslaved to was love. So now you have communities full of people, but only these were people that naturally knew who they were, had a natural love and appreciation for life. Can you see it? Those in the community who had love for fashion will all come together to make clothing. Those in the community who had love for carpentry will all come together to build. And they did this naturally. A community stood for just that. Unity. Do you see it? Can you imagine what things would look like if they were done out of love? Can you see it? And what's crazy is, still to this day, they're trying to figure out how was these things from the right knowledge civilization built. You have universities, schools, sculptures, pyramids that were built over 35,000 years ago and still exist because it was created out of love. I say we played their game too long, fighting over differences instead of seeing the similarities. Now we're fascinated by the distraction. We're too distracted to see the simplicity of life. We'll find every excuse that there is to why it wouldn't work, opposed to seeing how simple it is to see why it would work. One of the most powerful tools that we have as people, outside of being able to think, is our voices. But we've allowed ourselves to be silenced. We have allowed ourselves to be in this idle position. Wherever the water takes us, we just go along with the flow. Here we are living in this day and age, allowing young men and women, kids, to be gunned down, slaughtered. Don't you see that there's something wrong with that picture? But we're too busy pointing the finger, saying how sick the cops are, or how sick these young men are for killing one another, instead of seeing our own sickness for allowing it to go on. The only reason things like this can continue is because we allow them to continue by being in this idle position that we're in as a people. I'm telling you, it's a bad place for progress, for production. I'm not sure, but for most, we allow fear to hold us there. A lot of folks too worried about what we think others are going to think, when others aren't even using their brain to think past go. You know how we go to the doctor's office and the doctor says, you know, you have high blood pressure, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. Then she goes on to ask, did your mom have high blood pressure? Did your dad have high blood pressure? What about your grandparents? Next, you're being told it's hereditary. It's in your genes. You start to believe that garbage because doc told you so. That's exactly what we're doing to our kids, our young men and women. We're psychologically producing generations after generations of fearful, weak, just go along with anything, afraid to self-educate, following any unworthy act kind of kids. Before we came across that middle passage, I tell you, it wasn't hereditary or just in our genes that we had high blood pressure, or it wasn't in our genes that we're somehow prone to diabetes. This comes from generations and generations of ignorance and cowardice, allowing anything to go. Like I said, being in that comfortable position is a very bad place for progress. We are powerful beings, but we have allowed ourselves to lose our connection from nature, your very own naturalization. We have to get out of that comfortable position, man. It's like sitting on an ark and allowing the waves of the water to take you anywhere it goes. I challenge you to speak and have a voice. I challenge you to learn self, who you really are. Just speak. Stand when you see a situation taking place that's unjust. No matter who it is, just stand. I can care less if it was the Pope, the President, the Rothschilds, or whoever committing this unjustly inhumane act. Speak up. What you may not know or understand is that people care so much what you have to say if you let them know that you're passionate about what you're saying. You think it's my issue, but no, it's our issue. Do you know that the world is in a turmoil as I speak? We as people have closed our eyes at the wheel. We somehow seem to have forgotten that we are all connected. And because of this disconnection, our minds have slipped into a coma state where we're alive, but our brains are dead sleep. Things that would normally matter or that would cause us to stand collectively to fight for a cause just don't anymore. Is it because we've changed into a different species of humans, or because of social engineering and social programming? I choose the latter. How do we wake ourselves? How do we gain control of our thinking? Simple. We must focus in silence, and in that silence, listen to the wisdom that rests upon our spirits. You must turn off the television. The television is more detrimental to us than any nuclear bomb that has ever been dropped. When you awake and gain possession of your mind, you will then begin to question yourself. How did people allow this to happen? My address, once again, is Earth. I don't know about you, but mine's is Earth. And once we as people grab hold of that concept, once we cast down this lie that has and still is crippling us as a people of this universe, robbing us of life itself. The universe gives us everything that we need or can ever think of in abundance. And I do mean everything. This leaves me in questioning. Why is there so much poverty? And why is there so much hunger? Have we ran out of land to plant and harvest? I don't think so. I recently drove from Cali to Texas, and if 70% of that drive was an unoccupied land, then skies ain't blue and water ain't wet. I say, man, you must find your reason to die so you can find your reason to start living. And your kids and grandkids' kids can have a life worthy of living. I'm not saying how much will you leave them when you pass financially. We must teach them who they are by giving them the truth that we sometimes find out too late in life. Then they can pass it on to their kids and so forth. Am I the only one that sees this as unjust? That only a handful of families have access to the world's natural resources. It baffles me that they train their kids by telling them they own everything and that the masses of people are there at their service, waiting to be indebted to you as a slave. Why is it that we teach our kids totally different? Wait, let me rephrase that. Why is it that we're not even teaching our own kids? We send our kids out to schools that's under their control to teach them how to be a good slave. We was brought up under the same control, so when they come home, we do nothing but enforce this tyranny by telling our kids you do good in school so you can grow up and get a good job. You're preparing your kids to be a good slave. Where is their integrity? Where is their natural value and ownership to all that the universe has for them? It had the same thing waiting for you and for me, but we are being taught wrong. I say we are being taught wrong. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-great-grandparents was conquered with a lie. A story that we, meaning the world, was forced to believe. And remember this, please. Even in defeat, one must die in honor. Do you believe that things that the majority of us has accepted to be the truth can actually be a lie? Let me give you an example, if you will. The majority of us has been taught that we should wash our hands after we use the restroom, correct? Okay, for the most part, we can agree that most of us have been taught this way. I know you thinking, what am I getting at? Okay, nothing wrong with washing your hands after.
But why wasn't we taught to wash our hands before?
You tell me.
Give it some thought.
Let it affect
Especially
the process
men.
of life, baby.
Isn't that the part of our body covered and away from germs? Do we or do we not insert that into the portal of life? The woman? Did we shake hands and touch some of every unclean thing, including the door to the restroom? Then why do we go straight into the stall and touch what we use to create life with? Most of us, when we get home, aren't bathing before we lay with our woman.
Sometimes we
Now,
just a little
do
too
you
hot.
get the drift?
We be ready
We
to go
can
right
be
in.
taught wrong, and for the most part, the reasons we are deliberately being taught wrong is to affect the progress of life. If we look through our lives and reflect, life is really made up of a collective amount of memories. And when we realize this, it's too late to change the memories that we have created. We must, I say must teach our kids to create memories that are honorable to look at when they grow old. Therefore, it's best to create memories that's good to remember.
Yes, it is.
It isn't until you find your reason to die that you find your reason to live. Once again, I'm from Earth. I don't allow the borders that man have set keep me conformed. We have allowed man's media, television, to give us our perception of how we should let our kids dress, what's right and wrong,
That's some
even
mean
who
social
and what
program.
we should and shouldn't trust. I mean, the list goes on and on. No longer do we think for ourselves. The media does it for us. I'm commanding you to think. I'm commanding you to wake up and realize that you have been tricked into believing that what the in crowd do is fun. I'm telling you, it's a lie. Since when has turning up, or should I say being an alcoholic, or an unfit
what it really
mother,
is.
a deadbeat dad, a coward, been a thing to do? When do we stand? When do we say enough is enough? When do it stop? Most people will go damn near their whole life falling for the trap, the distraction. Then you don't find out until it's too late, and your kids have already put you away in a convalescent home
one of their
somewhere.
homes.
I mean, is that even natural for us to throw our moms, our grandparents away in a convalescent home? How did this become acceptable?
me.
I say
But we
the
accept
TV.
it.
This has been purposely and systematically designed by the same power structure that has us enslaved. They've made it so easy to put grandma and grandpa away somewhere. Now you've did exactly what those who are in power have programmed you to do. Remove the God/goddess of wisdom in your family so that you can remain asleep and they can remain in control. Study life back in the right knowledge civilization. See who was the most important and respected amongst each family. And guess what? Still to this day, that's exactly how we're being controlled by a handful of families that actually follow the same principles. Yet, they have made it appear normal over the years through television, media, and government programs for us to put our grandparents away somewhere. You know, over the years and years of social programming, we have now literally accepted the matrix. I ask you to think with me for a moment.
Just
for
think with
yourself, with the brain that you were created with to do just that, think. Don't you know that our brain is the only thing that have a storage capacity that never runs out of space?
Never, baby.
I hope that's not thinking kernel. You know that's how we've been programmed to believe that if we think with our brain and if what we're thinking isn't lining up with religion, that we're somehow thinking kernel. This is another programming tactic and actually one of the biggest ones yet, because this has been used to keep us in a state of mind as sheep being led. You know, I wonder if they were sitting back like, this one'll be easy for them to follow like sheep, since we've already gotten them to believe that this is the way to God. So I say to you, live each day constantly exceeding yourself, never allowing yourself to conform and accept the accepted, just as all things that has life, yet not neither one knows the beginning of its existence. And that's what makes it all and forever fair. The only thing we do know is that we are possible and all that possible is. With that being said, we are powerful beings with some of the most amazing abilities, just as all things that have life are. But from the looks of things, all things that has life understands this but us. We say that we want freedom, but do we really? It seems to me that we are confused about what we ask for, because no one can give you freedom. It's naturally yours. We must get back to what's natural. Our thinking must be natural. Our food must be natural. Here we are living in this time where we have accepted organic. I mean, shouldn't it just be? The fact that we have organic means there's something that's unnatural, not organic, and that's GMO, genetically modified organisms. It's in our food, in almost every store that we shop from. I mean, what happened? We've just allowed this one to slip by us as well. How is it that we live in the United States, which is a European-controlled union, but yet not one union in Europe allows GMO? When you figure this one out, let me know. I'll be waiting. We're too in love. I say we're too in love with the distraction. We enjoy the wrong things. Yeah, we do. We're not in our natural state of mind. We ask someone for freedom when we're naturally free. We fight and war against one another and have been programmed to think that that's natural. They train our young men and women in the service to take orders and not question nothing. I ask, is this natural? Is it natural to kill innocent women? Is it natural to kill innocent kids? No innocent men. It's time to start thinking for yourselves, loving yourselves, controlling yourselves, and standing for each other. Who do you look to hold you accountable? And if it's not God that you see when you see yourself, you're in a deep heap of trouble. The fact that you believe in a being that was in the form of a man and it's not yourself, people, you will always miss the mark and continue to operate in an unnatural way. I'm not saying it's not okay to pay homage to the greats that went before us, fighting for the truth, but the fact that we live in a day and age where there's no accountability, and it's been like this for quite some time now. I know we have some parents that teach their kids accountability, but what good is it when you teach them hate at the same time? We must see our true connection to each other, and when we see that, we will hold ourselves accountable to one another. I live to witness a genocide as it takes place. The distraction is real, and it's being distributed throughout society. And guess what? We're loving it. We're really, really loving it. All because we have settled and accepted a lie. And I say, even in defeat, one must keep their consciousness and remain in honor. Now, moving forward, we must come to the realization of a few things. I look into the windows of society and I notice the notice. She's calling. As I prep myself to answer the call, I hear a knock with a sense of urgency behind it. Come, come. Men are afraid, and women have lost their way, or should I say their grasp of naturalization to civilization. What was once becoming has became reality. The spirits are lost. No one know who they are. No one. They have accepted to believe in the corrupted mind of evil-minded men who have only one intent, which is to control and with world domination. And watch. I answered the call as I'm taking. I'm shown a glimpse through time of all events that has taken place throughout history. As my mind transcends into a dimension that allows me to see vividly all that has happened underneath the stars. Yes. I feel and I see all which had to be in order to form this spineless generation of sleepwalkers. I then began to realize the connection and why men built satellites. It's a mockery of our disconnection from our original source, which is the umbilical cord to the universe. You must take hold and regain your consciousness. Yes, these fools will record and try to bring a new civilization and form the same thing that has once was and now has became. And I ain't gon' let it. Yeah. Get your boogie on. Yeah. Get your boogie on. I'm gonna let this one ride out for a minute. Let all my groovers groove for a little bit. I just felt like expressing myself. Yeah. Get your boogie on. Yeah. Get your boogie on. You guys look for me. My name is Mr. Tory. I got Power Adams. And you do too. Don't forget that. You guys go check out my website at neweraglobal.org. That's neweraglobal.org, which is my foundation. And I'm trying to build, y'all. I want to see people successful, living in their right power with the right knowledge. Go support my foundation. We are 501c3, and I'm out here giving to inner city communities. My mission is provide the gift of art to at-risk youth. It's a movement, y'all. Yeah. Check me out on Facebook at Mr. Tory. I got Power Adams. Yeah. Get your boogie on. I told y'all I'm gonna let this one ride out. I want my people to have fun as well. I'm always in a serious mode, but sometimes I like to have fun. But I like to have good fun, peaceful fun for everyone. I say, get your boogie on. Huh? Yeah. Check me out on Twitter. Follow me at Mr. Tory. I got Power Adams on Twitter. Yeah. Get your boogie on. Also check out my YouTube at Mr. T-Man Raw. That's T-Man Raw on YouTube, and check out my videos. Yeah. Get your boogie on. Yeah. Get your boogie on. Sometimes you just got to close the book and look inside yourself to find yourself. Stop looking outside of yourself to find God. As long as you're looking for someone to teach you who God is, you're gonna wind up lost on a swervy road. Yeah. Get your boogie on. But they pre-programmed you to think that I'm wicked. They pre-programmed you to think that I'm some antichrist. But I am a Christ. I am a anointed one. I say I am an anointed one. Get your boogie on. Huh? Yeah. I think I'm doing a good thing. I think I'm waking up people. I think I'm getting these people from following like sheep I say, today, guess what? I was watching a video on YouTube. I don't know who it was that shared this video, but this what the video had. Just peep this, and maybe y'all can see yourselves in this video. But this is what the video had. I saw a dog at the zoo in a lion's cage. And it was a little bitty dog. I'm talking about the lion's feet was damn near bigger than a dog. But the dog had the lions on the ground shaking. And to me, for some reason, that just didn't seem natural. It kind of reminded me of ourselves being controlled and conquered by about 111 people, I say. I'm talking about 6 billion of us. 6 billion being conquered by 111. I say, get your boogie on. Huh? Yeah. Get your boogie on. Yeah. I say, allow me, if you will, to turn these young ladies into queens so y'all can turn us men into kings. The woman in the right knowledge civilization has always been honored as a queen. Get back into your original position. Sometimes you just got to close the book. I say sometimes you just got to close the book and looking within yourself, because that's where you'll find all the answers. As long as we keep on looking and allowing someone, I say allowing someone to control us, we gon' always be misled. I say can't nobody do you better than you. You heard me, I say nobody can do you better than you. So take original possession of yourself. And know what? Then you may realize that you was born to fly. Don't be afraid to dream bigger. I say dream bigger. Wake up and get your boogie on. Boogie on. Get your boogie on. Get your boogie on. I don't literally mean get out and go partying every week. I mean, when I say get your boogie on, it's a new type of boogie. It's a boogie where you're doing yourself some research. You're doing yourself some studying. I'm talking about studying yourself. Spend some time in quietness, people. Learn who you are. And you only find out who you are by looking at yourself. Get in the mirror and look your ugly self in the face sometime. When I say your ugly self, I'm talking about that ugly side. Cause all this beautiful, if you don't see it, I do. Yeah, get your boogie on. I see them pretty teeth. You look wonderful, ladies. Yeah, get your boogie on. I see my man. I see you, but I need you to stand. I need my man to stand. Be strong. Do what's natural. They'll obey. Trust me, they will. Yeah. I say, get your boogie on. The boogie on is doing your research. The boogie on is learning yourself. The boogie on is closing the book and let's bring forth a new chapter. Yeah. Get your boogie on. I say, it's some wisdom, but I think you got some more wisdom because you done lived. You done lived. And I think you've seen some things that I think need to be spoken on. We can't continue to sit back. No, get your boogie on. Yeah, get your boogie on. Listen in silence, learn how to pray. Try to think why they told you to talk so much when you pray. You got to keep talking and asking. You got to keep saying it. But guess what? That only keeps you deaf. Can't nothing come upon ears that's talking. You got to listen. Those are called deaf ears. I say, yeah, get your boogie on. The only talking you do is when you're teaching and you're edifying someone else. Yeah, get your boogie on. You know what my mama taught me a long time ago? My mama told me, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Huh? Yeah, get your boogie on. That's what she told me. And I took that, and I kept that, and I lived that. So, I wanna say, ladies, take your proper stand, queen. You know what I mean? Stop being afraid. Make these men stand. And man, if you know who you are, I say, man, stop allowing them to control us with this population control and take your stand rightfully, man. Only you and a woman can produce. I say, only you and a woman can produce. Get up, stand. Yeah, get your boogie on, huh? Yeah. Just look deep within yourself, and you will see. Yeah, huh? Get your boogie on. I'm gonna go and let it fade out a little bit. But I love y'all. Y'all be great. Don't be none less than great. I say, man, don't allow nothing to silence you. That's one of your most powerful tools. Yeah, get your boogie on. Ladies, you too. It's okay for you to speak, so when I say man, I mean man, woman, man. Yeah, huh? Get your boogie on. Speak. Stand for something bigger than yourself. That's the only thing that lives forever. Yeah, it's kinda hard for me to let this one go. I just wanna ride it. Yeah, huh? Get your boogie on. Yeah. You know what the new boogie is, don't you? I love y'all. Support what I do. Help support this movement. Go to neweraglobal.org and make a donation, please. I love y'all. I wanna open up a facility in every single state. I say I want to open up a facility in every single state that's building and developing young kings and young queens. I have to build it, I have to see it, and it's gonna happen. Hey, I say it's gonna happen. Yeah, get your boogie on. I'm gonna let it ride out. No, I'm for real this time. No, I'm really for real. Go ahead, get your last stanky leg in. You can stanky leg now. It's okay. Yeah. Get your boogie on. I told you I'm letting it ride out.